Hello world. This is my first ever stream, official stream, on this channel. Yeah, so just excited. This has been on my heart for a while. The Lord has just been putting it on my heart to get out in the virtual podcast streaming YouTube space to just share some stories of the goodness of God and kind of what God's doing in my life and the things that He's opened my eyes to and that I've been able to see. And yeah, so just out here to share today. So today I have some interesting stories. I just have some interesting stories to share about what God has been doing in and around my life, and also in the lives of my roommates, and just some craziness. So today, so it actually starts about 2 weeks ago. I got a call from my mom, and my mom lives in Colorado, and she gave me a call, and my first stream ever, baby. Let's go. Praise Jesus. She gave me a call, and she said, "So you will never believe what happened." Those are always just some great words. You know it's about to be a great story when you hear those words. And she said it was about 11:30 at night, and I was about to go to bed, and I was praying that um, that I would, have a good night and all this stuff. And she's like, I felt like I should just pray over my house. And so I just started praying that God would protect our home, and He would just protect our house, and just keep us safe. And then she said after that, I went to bed, and your dad and your sister were about to come back from wherever they were, and so I basically went to bed, and she's like, right as I was dozing off, I heard your father just come into the room, and he came into the room, and then he left really quickly. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't really pay much attention to it because I was about to go to bed." Um, but then all of a sudden, this was about 12 o'clock, right as I was at that point, my mom was saying this, right as she was at that point where she was about to where she's like half asleep, but also still half awake. She heard a loud thump on the door, a super loud thump, not on her bedroom door, but on like the outside door. And she looks up from her bed, and there's a robber standing on our patio with literally a black cap, a black outfit, and he's like literally thumping on our back door to break into our house to see if anyone's home. And my mom, like, of course, jolts out of bed, gets up, and runs into the kitchen. And my dad is standing in the kitchen with two hammers in his hands. And my mom's like, "Did you hear that?" And he's like, "Yes, I heard that." He's like, "I'm going to investigate." And right as they start to head towards the door, the robber just runs and jumps over our patio and just runs away and just escapes and runs away. And my mom was saying that when my dad had gotten home that night, he heard a super loud thump on a different door, and he came into my mom's room to see if it was my mom making a ruckus or something. But what had actually happened is the robber had thumped on our garage door to see if anyone was home, and the door was locked, so he couldn't come in to the door. So he went around to our back patio and thumped on that door to see if anyone was home, and that door was also locked. But my mom said the front door was wide open, and the robber could have just walked right into the front door. And God had put it on her heart to pray for the house to be protected. And the robber literally just could have gone to any of the doors, but chose to go to that one. Um, just amazing. Um, and what is really interesting is that this was about 4 or 5 days ago. I just flew back in from Florida, and I was out visiting my grandparents and golfing and all this stuff. And I get into my car after this trip, and right as I open up my door, sit down, I noticed there was some change, like coins, like nickels, dimes, and pennies on the floor of my driver seat, and kind of like where you put your feet to push the gas pedals. It was just sitting on the floor, and I was like, "This is weird." I keep changing my car from when I get changed back from places, but I keep it in a Ziploc bag that's in my little coffee pull up thing by the driver's side. And so I was like, why is there change on the floor? This is really weird. And I got that feeling like, oh, maybe someone broke into my car and got the change. And so I opened up my dash, and sure enough, my change Ziploc bag was gone. Like it was literally just not even there. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't remember moving that. And it's like, it was literally like $8 and change. And I also had like all these other things in my car that were more valuable. And so it was really weird. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, maybe I'm just like losing my marbles or something. Until tonight, I came home after playing some basketball and seeing some buddies, and my roommate said, "Oh yeah, like the other day, someone stole my white Yeezys or his white Adidas out of his car." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, someone." He was like, "I was in our stairwell like 3 days ago, 4 days ago," and he's like, "It was like 3 in the morning, and I was just in the stairwell, and I heard like a bunch of footsteps." And he's like, it like freaked me out. So I came back inside, and I like came into our room, and he's like, then I went into the garage the next day, and um I saw that literally my shoes that were in my car were gone. Like they were just completely gone. And I also had a bag of change. This was like 6 or 7 months ago. That he's like that I also like it just one day was gone. And he's like, I don't know what happened, but it's like literally gone. And just absolutely insane. And I was just talking with my roommate and reflecting on this situation of someone stealing change out of our car and stealing these white Adidas shoes out of his car when there, he said that he had like my roommate said he had a North Face jacket and all these other things that were more valuable. And in my car, I had golf clubs and hydro flask, giant hydro flask, and all these other things that were more valuable. But someone, whoever it was, like took the change and like these little things that just weren't that valuable. And we were just reflecting back on that situation, this situation, and the situation that happened in Colorado with my mom and my family out there, and the robber. And it was like I felt like God was teaching us that first of all, he's sovereign and he knows what is going to happen, and he just seeks for us to lean on him and to look to him and to pray to him when these situations come, and also to wake us up. Because like now, after having these experiences and hearing about what has happened with my mom and that house and in Colorado, and us here with the change and these little things, like the robbers didn't take anything hardly of value to us. Like, and like when my mom back in Colorado, the robber didn't really do anything, but they were alerted. My parents are alert now. I'm alert. My roommate is alert. We're all alert, and we're more awake in our spirits because of what has happened. And it's like almost as if God has allowed these robbers, these thieves, to get into these situations where it wakes us up, but God also still sovereignly protects his children even in the midst of these situations where these robbers are coming to try and take things or like break in and steal. And God is just looking for our hearts, and he's like, hey, like there's evil in the world, and evil is happening, and people are trying to steal and do these things, but hey, I'm sovereign and I'm watching over you. I just want you to look to my face and see that, and also that I'm just protecting you, and hey, wake up a little bit. Um, and so it really is just amazing how God, like that robber could have easily in my car and in my roommate's car and even in my parents' home gone through the front door, and all these different situations, things that could have happened differently but didn't. And it's as if God had just his sovereign protection over us. And Psalm 3 says that the Lord is our shield and he's our glory. He's a lifter of our head. And it's so true, just like seeing how God just shields his children and protects us from these things, but still allows them to happen to the point that we are aware of his sovereignty, and ultimately, like he even uses in all things, God works for the good of those who love him. Even God uses these things like thieves and crooks and robbers to bring glory to his name, and uses it for his good, even when these people are intending evil. Like in Genesis, it says that for what man intended for evil, God intended for good. So um, just what a blessing and what an amazing thing that God would just work all things for good. So uh, thank you for viewing this first stream. It's hopefully one of many to come, and definitely one of many stories of the Lord's faithfulness. I have quite a few on my heart and on my mind to share from some radical things the Lord has done, just even in this last year. So may the Lord bless you and keep you.